JMU Volleyball is ready to dominate again. The Dukes, who are led by a spectacular group of seniors, have exactly what it takes to win the CAA championship. This core of seniors includes Hannah Porterfield from Arlington, Virginia, Bailey Stillwell from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, Ashley Copenhaver from Hedgesville, West Virginia, and Amanda Sneed from Richmond, Virginia.
I think this year I'm more counted on as being a leader on and off the court, so I've tried to embrace that role and really get the girls motivated and ready to play every weekend.
I feel like, we kind of just try and lead by example. Like, we just hope that the freshmen are following kind of what we're doing, I guess, because I think that's like how we had it as freshmen. Like, we just kind of, if everyone else was doing that, then we're going to go ahead and just do it. That's like how we learn. So that's kind of what we're doing.
This year I feel a lot more confident with the team. Like, I feel like they can ask me questions.
I won't lose my temper with my other teammates while we're playing, and we have some of that on the team, which is good because it fires people up. But maybe someone gets yelled at, I come up behind them and say, hey, you're doing a great job, you can do it next point. So it's just a good balance, and I'm always controlled and pretty even-tempered on the court.
I can play both sides. I'm pretty versatile, but it's mostly where our team needs us, and this year they need me on the outside. We've had some injuries, so that's where I need to contribute and produce this year. I've played some right side in the past. That's what I came in as a freshman as, but I've worked on both, so I can play either way.
Yeah, I absolutely love playing all the way around. It's awesome, like, to just be in there contributing all the time and to be the kind of player that you can, like, kind of steady any motion of the game as far as being on the court all the time. Like, you know what's going on at all times as opposed to being subbed out. You can watch and you can see, but you get subbed back in sometimes and maybe things get riled up differently. So being in there all the time is nice for me because I feel like I can stabilize myself and not get like rocked with all the emotions of the game.
I love playing the back row. I love digging, I love passing. It was always my favorite thing, even when I did play all the way around.
We watch a lot of film on our opponents and what is going to work for our team to beat them. So we actually spend a lot of time watching film and really trying to break down and make sure we know how we're going to beat the other team.
Last spring we really focused hard on breaking down blocking and working it piece by piece as opposed to maybe blocking as a whole, and really learning what do your arms have to do, what do your hands have to do, what does your body have to do.
This year I worked real hard over the summer. I stayed in Harrisonburg and took some summer school classes and worked out. I actually worked out with the women's soccer team this year. We did running and stuff. And that really helped my conditioning level.
My high school coach was incredible. He was a fantastic coach, and he taught me all about discipline and that you have to discipline yourself, and what's going to get you to where you want to be is how hard you work. And so that's what I learned mainly from him, and just that to run a discipline program you have to have, from the get-go, you've got to be in total control. And from Disa and Carrie and Chuck, I've just learned that sometimes you have to have a different coaching strategy for different players based on their personality and their background and what they're going to respond to.
We all had different vans, and we were actually racing from Boston to New York. It's called Van Wars 05. If you ask anybody about it on the volleyball team, they know exactly what you're talking about.
We call it Van Wars 05.
It was pretty intense.
There were 3 different cars, and one of our assistant coaches was going crazy because she thought our car got lost.
I was like, oh, here I am. I'm in the back of this Impala going 95 miles an hour. Well, we weren't going that fast.
She wanted to be in the front, and we ended up in the front, and it was just the funniest thing. We were all dying laughing. We're on our cell phones. We're not allowed to use our cell phones, and texting back and forth between the cars, which we weren't allowed to be doing, and cracking up.
That's probably the funniest thing that this happened on a road trip.
It was 4 hours of just we were tired and it was funny. Van Wars.
I think Allison is the funniest. She's always quirky and just doing crazy things to make everyone laugh, and she's pretty wild and crazy.
Allison Halls, she's hysterical. 6'4", like this big tall girl, and she just like does crazy dance moves, and she's really funny. So she always has jokes.
Allison, without a doubt. Like, she's hysterical, probably one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Allison. Hands down. She's probably the funniest person I've ever met in my entire life because she's this like 6'4" girl dancing around, always like making goofy sounds, noises, faces. She's absolutely hilarious. She's so much fun.
She'll dance like during timeouts. We had to put a rule in our team handbook this year. Timeouts are not a club dance floor, which is so funny to me.
I like when Disa starts laughing. I think it's really funny.
Since I'm the one that makes all the corny jokes, like pretty much just to lighten people up, throughout all the 4 years I've kind of been trying to lighten her up. Like I try to squeeze in little jokes just to see if I can get her laugh.
We can get her to laugh like in practice and like kind of just lighten the mood, but I think it's funny when she like starts chiming in on jokes, and like it's fun to see that side of her personality come out because, you know, she's not just a coach, she's a person. So it's fun to like joke around with her and like see her sense of humor.
What do you call a pig that does karate? A pork chop.